Professor Tark's thin mandibles clicked nervously as the classroom of third-year xenohistory students settled into their seats. Today's lesson was controversial, perhaps the most controversial in the curriculum. The topic: humans and their unique position in the Galactic Accords. Today, Tark began, his four eyes blinking in sequence. We discuss why humans are the only species explicitly banned from participating in galactic warfare under Section 7 of the Unified Combat Protocols. A blue-skinned Ardanian raised a tentacle. Professor, our textbook says it's because humans are too fragile and would be slaughtered in interspecies combat. Tark's exoskeleton creaked as he laughed. That is the official explanation, yes. But you are now senior enough to learn the truth. He dimmed the lights and activated the holoprojector. The ban was implemented after the Rigel incident. The projection showed a small Earth colony on Rigel 7, established before humans had met the wider galactic community. Then it showed the Drex fleet that had discovered them, massive warships of the then dominant military power in the sector. The Drex, believing the humans to be simple and primitive due to their technology level, decided to make an example of the colony. Tark explained. They demanded surrender and servitude. The next image showed a human representative, a small, unassuming figure named Major Tom Lee. This human asked for one standard day to prepare their response, Tark continued. The Drex, confident in their superiority, granted this request, expecting a ceremonial surrender. A student with crystalline skin asked, "But humans had no significant weapons, correct?" "Correct," Tark replied. Their ships were unarmed transport vessels. They had only basic security personnel and standard-issue projectile weapons. The next projection showed the human colony 24 hours later. The students leaned forward, intrigued. The colony appeared unchanged except for some hastily constructed barriers. When the Drex landing party arrived, they found this, Tark said, advancing the projection. The image showed a field of primitive traps surrounding the colony. Covered pits, tripwires, and strange contraptions made from colony equipment. The humans had transformed their entire colony into what they called a kill box, Tark explained. But more importantly, they had done something no species had considered before. The projection showed the Drex commander approaching Major Lee again. The humans didn't just prepare defenses, Tark said quietly. They studied the Drex. In just one day, they identified anatomical vulnerabilities that even Drex medical texts considered minor. They crafted weapons specifically targeting those weaknesses. The students shifted uncomfortably as Tark continued. When the Drex attacked, expecting an easy victory against the outmatched humans, they encountered a species that had turned their entire environment into a weapon. The projection showed the aftermath. Drex soldiers incapacitated not by superior firepower, but by precisely targeted attacks to previously unknown vulnerabilities. Improvised chemical compounds that reacted specifically with Drex exoskeletons. Sonic frequencies that disrupted their equilibrium. The humans lost many of their people, Tark said solemnly. But they eliminated a force 10 times their size with equipment made from mining tools and kitchen appliances. A student with feathered ridges spoke up. But Professor, any species could have done this with enough time. That's just it, Tark replied. No other known species could have or would have. The humans did this in 24 hours. They call it adaptability. We call it combat evolution. And it terrified the galactic community. Tark brought up the final image, the Galactic Security Council meeting where the ban was implemented. The humans were not banned because they were weak, he explained. They were banned because they are too dangerous. When backed into a corner, humans can rapidly analyze, adapt, and overcome in ways no other species can match. They don't just fight. They evolve their fighting tactics in real time. The classroom was silent as Tark continued. The Rigel incident was classified. The Drex, once the most feared military power in the sector, requested the information be suppressed to avoid embarrassment. The council agreed, but with a condition. Humans would be prohibited from galactic warfare. A mottled student with 6 limbs raised a hand. But Professor, if humans are so formidable, why didn't they object to the ban? Tark's outer membrane pulsed with amusement. That's the most interesting part. When presented with the ban, the human representatives seemed relieved. Their ambassador said something quite profound. We've spent thousands of years learning to control our capacity for violence. We would prefer not to use it. The projection showed the signing of the accords, with human representatives standing alongside alien dignitaries. The official records state humans are banned from warfare to protect them, Tark concluded. The truth is, it protects us. Humans don't just fight wars, they solve them, like puzzles. And they solve them in ways no simulation could predict, The students filed out after class. Tark overheard them discussing the revelation. One asked another, "Do you think humans know why they're really banned?" Tark smiled to himself. Of course humans knew. That was perhaps the most terrifying thing about them. They understood exactly how dangerous they could be and chose restraint anyway. Until they couldn't. The professor packed up his materials, reflecting on what he hadn't told the students. That Major Tom Lee had apologized to the surviving Drex. Not for fighting back, but for the efficiency with which humans had turned survival into a science. In the 1,000 years since, no species had dared attack a human settlement again. Not because of weapons or strength, but because of the chilling knowledge that given enough incentive and a little time, humans could find a way to win against any adversary. Some called it resourcefulness. The Galactic Council called it the most dangerous trait in the known universe.